ever just completely lose it while gaming? Like, your inner peace just evaporates and you're yelling at the screen.
Happens to the best of us.
Right. But imagine if that, like, gamer rage was part of your job description. That's what we're diving into today, the wild world of gaming content creation. Specifically, we're looking at the challenges of staying true to your values, especially when it comes to faith. Our source material today is Senor Alex Fuel and his podcast, the StoryFuel Podcast.
Interesting.
We'll be checking out a few different episodes to really understand his experience. So I'm curious, what are your initial thoughts on this whole intersection of faith and gaming? They don't always go hand in hand.
It's a weird mix.
Yeah.
Right. You have gaming, which can be kind of edgy, pushing boundaries.
Staying up late, energy drinks, maybe a little too much yelling sometimes.
And then faith, which is often about, discipline, bigger purpose, that sort of thing. It's a tough balance, especially if you're doing it publicly.
And Senor Fuel really leans into those tough parts. He talks about this super practical thing that a lot of creators deal with, like, how do you write those catchy video titles? Everyone wants those views, but he draws a line at, like, clickbait stuff that compromises his values.
That's the classic marketing struggle, isn't it? Staying true to yourself versus getting noticed in all the noise.
Yeah, and he actually brings up a specific example. Early on, he was watching other gaming videos, and he saw these titles that felt almost like exploitative and made him realize, okay, I want to be different.
It's powerful, right? Almost like authenticity becomes its own strategy. Maybe not the fastest path to success, but it can build something more genuine.
That seems to be a theme with him. It's not just the titles, it's about keeping that good guy image even during those intense live stream moments, which sounds impossible, honestly. He even mentions struggling with, like, his faith because he was trying so hard not to curse on stream.
That's the thing about this always online world. It's like emotional regulation is everything.
Yeah.
And we all know we should manage our emotions, but in reality, when you're under pressure, people watching your every move.
Especially when your livelihood is on the line, right?
Yep.
He mentions losing his Twitch affiliate status, which, for those who don't know, it's a big deal for income.
Huge deal.
Yeah.
And you could hear how much that experience impacted him, like a real turning point in how he viewed his priorities.
Makes you wonder, are there, like, actual techniques people in those situations can use to handle those split-second reactions?
Yeah.
Because willpower can only take you so far.
Totally. It's about healthy coping mechanisms, whether that's mindfulness, taking breaks, having a plan for when things get heated.
So you have this guy making clean content, watching his language, dealing with the pressure cooker of live streaming, but then there's this other layer, the audience. Senor Fuel talks about how live streaming, while awesome for connecting, also makes you incredibly vulnerable.
It's a total tightrope walk. Trying to be real, but also facing potential negativity, pressure to conform. He even felt like he was losing himself trying to be what he thought viewers wanted, even when it went against his own beliefs.
Wow, that's a powerful way to put it, losing yourself. Did he go into detail about what that looked like for him?
He did, and that's where we'll pick up in part 2 of our deep dive.
So last time we left off, Senor Fuel was talking about feeling like he was losing himself a bit, trying to please his audience. I think a lot of people can relate to that, even if they aren't, streaming for a living. What did he say that actually looked like for him?
He started making content he thought would get views, even if it wasn't something he was into.
Really?
Yeah, he even mentioned trying those viral gaming challenges.
Oh, wow.
That he actually found kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Just because he thought that's what people wanted.
It's like the content creator's version of, like, eating junk food, Might give you a temporary boost,
Yeah.
but doesn't really feel good in the long run.
And that's what he realized. He was basically sacrificing his own enjoyment.
Wow.
His own sense of purpose.
Right.
For those numbers.
It makes you wonder, what's the cost of doing that long term? Like,
Sure.
silencing that voice inside that's like, this isn't really me.
For him, it eventually led to straight up burnout.
Yeah.
He said he felt creatively and spiritually drained, just going through the motions.
That's rough. And that's when he decided to hit that reset button, right? He talked about deleting his gaming channels.
Yeah, which, can you imagine putting all that work into something, building it from scratch,
Years.
and then being like, nope, it's got to go.
Wow.
That took a lot of courage.
It really does make you think about how much pressure there is online to, like, project this image of success.
Right.
Never admit defeat, never change course. And he just...
Completely walked away.
There's something kind of powerful about that.
It shows real strength, recognizing when something's not working and choosing to walk away.
Exactly.
Even if it's scary.
And for him, it sounds like, while hard, that decision actually opened up some new possibilities.
He talked about this feeling of relief after deleting everything, like a weight off his shoulders.
Wow.
It let him reconnect with his faith, figure out what really mattered.
That's powerful. So it wasn't just quitting. It was like stepping into this unknown space. It's a chance to rediscover things.
And it reminds us that those moments where we feel lost, unsure, they can actually put us on the right path.
So we've talked about the challenges, the burnout, the courage to walk away. But what about the good stuff? Did he mention any rewards, any like unexpected benefits of like sticking to his faith in the gaming world?
He did. One thing that stuck out was his experience finding a community. Even with all the negativity he faced, he also found people who got it, who appreciated his approach.
It's like finding your people, you know?
Yeah, a community that understood and supported him.
Did those connections help him when things got tough? That's what I was wondering. Did those connections like help him through the harder parts of this whole journey?
He said they really did. Like having that support system made him feel less alone,
That makes sense.
especially in that world that can be so competitive.
Yeah, for sure.
And for him, that sense of community became even more important when he left Twitch.
Because, I mean, even with support, deleting those channels had to be a tough call, right? Did he ever say why he felt like he had to go that far?
He did. And basically, he realized that even with good people around him, all the negativity from the wider gaming world, it was just too much.
It's like you can choose your friends, but you can't choose, like, the comment section, right?
Exactly. And for him, it became about setting boundaries,
Self-preservation.
even if that meant walking away from something he liked.
Sometimes that's the healthiest thing you can do, though, right? Even if it's hard.
100%. And for him, it actually opened up this whole new chapter.
Okay, now you have to tell me more about that.
Well, remember how we were saying that clean content was so important to him?
Yeah, using his platform for good.
So he takes that passion, right?
Yeah.
And instead of abandoning it when he quits Twitch, he finds a new way to express it.
Let me guess. He starts making those wholesome gaming videos everyone always says they want.
Not quite, but he did combine his love for storytelling with his faith.
What do you mean?
He started making these faith-based audio dramas.
Wow, that's unexpected.
Right. But it makes sense. When you think about it, he was already doing a podcast.
True, so he knew audio.
And he loved to tell stories.
It's like he took everything he'd learned from gaming, all those skills, and applied them to something totally different but still true to who he was.
And get this, it worked. He found this whole new audience, people who love these imaginative, thought-provoking stories.
That's awesome. It just shows you never know where your passions might lead you.
And that's what's so inspiring about his story. It's all about authenticity, resilience, not being afraid to forge your own path.
Even if it takes you somewhere you didn't expect.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive here, what's the biggest takeaway you hope listeners are left with?
I think it's this. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And the world needs to hear what you have to say. Don't be afraid to be yourself, even when it's hard. Trust that the right people will find you.
So well said. And on that note, we'll leave you with this. What if the challenges you're facing, those roadblocks, are actually detours? What if they're leading you to something even better than you imagined?
Something to think about.
Definitely. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep diving deep.